Hey, what's up, everyone? I haven't had a whole lot of energy or motivation as of late to film my normal repertoire of videos, and I kind of needed to rant about this, and I've tried to make this 4 or 5 times, so hopefully I can just get it out in one take here, because I really don't feel like doing any editing tonight. I've been feeling rather upset lately about my not being in a relationship. I'll go to like family parties, and all basically my entire family's either engaged or getting married now. I see people having children. I see people making a lot more money than me and having much more success. And it's not like I need that necessarily, but I would like to have something going for my life. And I keep trying to do my own thing, but the fact that I can't keep a consistent source of social relationships going, and I did have that for a while, but then one person will get into a relationship, so I won't see them anymore. Another couple people move away, and pretty soon my whole fucking group of friends that I can talk to on a regular basis is just fucking gone. So it's been making me need a relationship more and more, and I've been asked in the past about what I thought of MGTOW, and what MGTOW is men going their own way. It's what it stands for, and it's basically men who are opting out of relationships and opting out of traditional male responsibilities because of how the current laws are set up, and how traditional male responsibilities are just sacrificing, and then as soon as you're not useful to society and people anymore, you basically get cast out. When you work a construction job, and then you get hurt, well, no one really wants to help you anymore. Your family's gonna fucking leave you because you're not bringing in money, and it's just like there's no incentive to do that. That being said, I believe there's a really strong evolutionary drive to find a partner and find someone to be with, even for men. And I don't personally find, even despite the risks, that foregoing that for much longer is something I can really deal with. And maybe the fact that other men have gone through that gauntlet for a long time, and they've learned their lesson, that it's just visually in their mind that they don't want to do that. I do find that I learn a lot better from a bad lesson than being told something's bad for me. Like if I actually do something and it doesn't work out, then it's ingrained in my brain in a way that, you can't learn for any other way. That being said, I don't think it's a mistake for everybody to get into a relationship, despite the fact how the laws are set up with marriages and divorce. I definitely have no intention of ever getting married, and hopefully not having kids, at least in the near future, if not ever. It just doesn't seem appealing to me right now, but I do want a relationship. And it's, despite this, I've wanted this for like decades now, and it's something that's largely eluded me. And I've had periods of time where I've had a lot of attraction from women to me, and it kind of shows on my old Facebook memories, and I can see girls being not subtle about being into me, and it's just at that time it was basically irrelevant, because I didn't have my own place. I didn't have a good source of income. My mom was very strict, and it's just you just don't have the resources to do any of that. And if someone had told me growing up that instead of just you should get a job so you can fucking get a place and live a good life, but if people told me you should take care of yourself and do these things and go out and do stuff, because then women are actually going to want to be around you and like you, I probably would have been a lot more receptive to that, rather than staying inside and playing video games most of the time. And the things that I did do, my friends basically just dragged me along to, and it's just I was never really too into them. And also, I guess I didn't have a whole lot of good support, so I was very prone to giving up right away when I was younger. So yeah, I never really got with a few exceptions, but very brief times, I've never really had a real relationship other than a long distance one that, and I've had a few brief sexual partners over the years, but it feels like I've really never had a true intimate relationship with somebody. And as I get older, it's sinking in that, I'm definitely not an alpha male, because I just, I don't know. It's like, you try to, as a male, you try to do all these things for years and years and years, and it's like, no matter how much self-improvement you fucking do, no one's ever gonna fucking, like, come up to you and actually talk to you. You actually have to go out and deal with this, like, fucking paralyzing fear of rejection. And I saw Jordan Peterson do a video basically on this, about something that, you know, women don't understand about men, is that, like, they really do not want to get rejected by women, because it's fucking horrible. And I see all these women all the time who are always insecure about their looks, or insecure about like all these things, and yet, you know, they constantly have sexual partners. They constantly have guys that are fawning over them, and it's like, oh, I'm not beautiful enough, or oh, I'm slightly too heavy, and it's just like, dude, you've had over 20 sexual partners. And like, it's fucking ridiculous. And they live in this whole reality. Like, I could imagine if they had gone through, like, what I've been through, where it's like, hey, you really want to know what it's like to not have anyone care about you? Go for like 7 years where you have absolutely zero affection from anyone whatsoever. But yeah, I basically, this just triggered this in me today, because I saw this thing on Facebook that my friend posted, and she's an alright person. And we used to be really close, and it's not really relevant to that, but I'm not like bashing her or anything, but she had posted something today that I thought was kind of, you know, silly, where it's like, here's what it says. I'm in a relationship with someone who makes me laugh like crazy, reassures me that I'm loved even in hard situations, continues and puts forth effort for me every day, and is my best friend in the world. It's crazy how I ever believed that anything less was good enough. I just think of the contrast like that as a male. Like, let's see, no one gives a fuck about me. Even if I do stuff, no one's going to give a fuck about me. If I do find someone who's going to, like, want to be in a relationship with me, they're probably going to be mentally abusive to me, like the last person I tried to date was. And even if that, you know, when I, like, wouldn't go for that, she, like, instantly found someone, like, right after that who's, you know, willing to put up with it. And it's just like, you just get treated like fucking shit. I can't even imagine, like, a fucking being in a relationship with a woman who, like, treats me right. And, like, I know that there would be women who would do that, but they're with other men, or they're with other men, because, you know, they're actually, like, good women. Like, if you have, like, a decent personality and you aren't hideously ugly, you will find someone as a woman. In fact, you don't even have to find someone. They will find you. And, you know, I just think, you know, people and like women live in this, like, fucking world where, because society loves and cares about them because they're specifically women, and then on top of this, they think that they have, like, some unique sense of oppression, where, you know, there's a 20-to-1 workplace death gap where men are dying at 20 times the rate. Men are committing suicide at 4 times the rate. Men make up over 90% of the prisoners. They're 3.5 times more likely to die of homicide. And because, you know, men are involved in some of these things, it's basically like, oh, well, men are causing their own problems, so we don't give a fuck about them. And that's assuming they even fucking acknowledge it, because, you know, when people talk about, like, the Violence Against Women Act, it's, like, acted like women are, like, the main fucking victims of violence, where they're absolutely fucking not. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing, that, like, when women are victims of violence, but, you know, if we're gonna talk about it, you should talk about the main victims at the very fucking least, if you're going to have the conversation. But it, you know, it just bothers me. Like, no one really gives a fuck. And the only way anyone's ever going to give a fuck about me is if I, like, go through the effort and deal with all these mental demons. And, you know, who knows whenever that's going to fucking be done. So it just kind of sucks, because, you know, you're told all the time that men have all this privilege because, you know, there's a few men who have trampled over the rest of us and gotten to the top. You know, when people talk about gender imbalances, they're all like, oh, well, Robert Downey Jr. makes $10 million more than fucking Jennifer Lawrence or something. I'm using that as an arbitrary example. And it's not like, you know, when people don't want to talk about gender equality, they're not like, oh, men are killing themselves at 4 times the rate of women. And that's like a global, or that's like a societal, over the entirety of society. It's not one wealthy person making X amount more money than another wealthy person. And people don't understand that. And I get annoyed by all these women who always feel ugly or feel insecure despite infinite guys wanting to fuck them and be with them. When, someone like me, like, I'll have, like, literally no fucking female attention for, like, fucking years at a time, and I'll have to go through, like, insane effort. And the only time I ever had a good amount of female attention was, like, for a brief time in my early 20s where I was actually, like, talking to girls regularly, and then, like, oh, girls see without you with other girls, and then they get into you too, and it's like, but I didn't really get anything out of it. And I mean, when I say didn't get anything out of it, I didn't get any long-term relationships. I didn't even get any short-term relationships. I got very little sex, and mostly not from any of those girls actually that were into me. I could have, had I had money to go, visit some of them who live farther away, or just see the other ones that are closer on a regular basis. But considering I fucking had some shitty job that barely paid me enough, but yeah, I guess where I am in life right now is I'm trying to find. I wouldn't even say trying to find, because I don't even feel like I'm in a state where I could be in a relationship right now, and God forbid, knows I fucking want to, because it's like, I have a low amount of time off at work, so at the very earliest, it would be next year, and I still have to finish restoring my foreskin, and I'm apprehensive about going through the awkwardness of having that conversation again. Even though that's going well, I know it's still going to be another 2 or 3 years at least, although it has been going better lately, and I believe I'm finally a CI4, but I don't know, it's just frustrating, and I can't even, like, it's been so long, besides my one long-distance relationship, it's been so long without me being in a relationship, and I almost got into one in 2016, but it was just a matter of the girl was being so utterly toxic towards me, like, as much as I wanted to be in that, I just could not fucking continue it. I don't know if that would have subsided after a while. Maybe it would have. My other friend told me that, and I was like, yeah, I didn't really think of that, but still, I don't think that's a good sign right when a relationship starts off and the other person's just being super manipulative, and I don't know, it's frustrating, but like, so I'm trying to think about, getting into a relationship or start dating or trying to date next year, but it's like, I can't even imagine, like, what it's like to fucking be in a decent relationship. And it's all these other people are just, like, moving on with their lives, or moving on to, like, they have lots of money. And it's like the people I'm competing with now, I've always wanted, to do this, but it's like, well, in high school, I wasn't the first one to ever get a car. I wasn't the first one to ever get, like, a part-time job. I wasn't the ones dating in elementary and middle school. And now that I have my own place, I have a little bit of extra money on the side. I have a full-time job that I've been at for 3 years. It's like, well, now I'm competing against people who are making 6 figures, and have had all this experience dating for the past, 20 years or whatever. I have friends that I fucking used to play Magic with who are literally millionaires now, and it's like, I don't know, it fucking sucks. And I'm not getting, like, super emotional over this, but it's like, it really is. I mean, I don't feel like I'm being, like, outwardly so, but it really does, like, it gets exhausting, and it's like, dude, I don't know, and I guess, again, like, it bothers me, because, like, women are always like, oh, where are all the fucking good men? Well, a lot of women don't really even give, good dudes a chance. And I understand that there's, like, evolutionary reasons for that and stuff, but it's one thing to be like, oh, say this thing doesn't exist, because you're not interested in it. Well, so yeah, I guess, like, it's just gonna be more working towards trying to improve and trying to be more attractive, and actually getting over my fear of actually, like, being able to, like, ask a girl out or ask her for a number. And that gets more complicated with shit like Me Too, where it's like everything you do is basically considered harassment. It's like there's no, like, concrete line with, like, whether I should be more persistent with a girl, because a lot of girls will just, like, literally tell you no right away, but they want you to sometimes that will mean try harder. There's no, like, concrete line. I'm not even talking about something like touching a girl unwantedly here, which is something I would never fucking do, unless, by unwanted, I mean, there's times where it's like and this is something that like feminism doesn't understand in our current societal thinking of this, is like, sometimes there's like implied consent. Like it's like, and if someone stops something at some point, you escalate a little bit, and then like if someone's uncomfortable with that, they can fucking say so. And I've seen girls do this to me, and vice versa. But it's only a bad thing when men do it. It's only a fucking horrible thing. You're only a fucking oppressive jackass when a male does it. If a girl comes up to me in high school and fucking hits me in the balls over some stupid joke, that's not even sexual assault. Even if you do it in front of a teacher, like that's fucking fine. But if you're making out with a girl and you like put your hand somewhere and it's like, oh well, she didn't expressly consent to that. It's just stupid shit like that. And it's, again, I don't fucking know. Like I'm trying to be a good dude, and I don't even think that that's like the play anymore, because it's clearly not fucking working. Like, insanity's doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results. Anyways, this kind of went off the rails, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm just fucking upset, and it's not only the fact that I can't find anyone to date or find like, someone like to at least like try to like get to know. It's that I don't even feel like I'm in the position to, and it fucking sucks. So that's like one of the things that I don't think, when women are going off on their oppressive rants about how fucking terrible it is to be a woman and all the terrible things, despite the fact that there's like infinite horrible things about being male, especially if you're not like in the top 1% of men. I don't think women really appreciate like how good some of the things that they do fucking have it, because no one really gives a shit about you if you're fucking male and you're not making mad bank or something. Anyways, I'll just let that go here, since this is 16 minutes. I doubt anyone actually made it this far, but till next time, guys. SpinCycle Mark 5 over and out.